It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the two movies of February 3rd, 2006. And I wish I could say they were better movies, but yeah, this is Super Bowl weekend, and a special Super Bowl because these guys were playing in that Super Bowl where they won against Seattle. But yeah, so the studios are not going to release anything big on Super Bowl weekend, at least not back in 2006. No. We've got a modern horror remake that probably would have been more suitable for the WB movie of the week if they even had a movie of the week back then. And then a romantic comedy that's, I guess, trying to be something similar to Guess Who, but we'll talk about that one in a little bit. But let's get to the biggest new release of the weekend, sadly, because we have a remake of one of the great psychological horror movies of all time, and that is When a Stranger Calls. Oh, Camilla Belle. I remember when Hollywood was trying to make you a thing, but you kept starring in terrible, terrible movies like this movie and 10,000 BC, and it was just like, yeah, your career was pretty much over and done with after that. But, yeah. I remember when they were trying to make her a thing, and to be honest, it's not really her fault. It's just that this movie is so poorly put together. This is, of course, a remake of the 1979 movie starring Carol Kane, which became a cult classic mostly because of the first over 20 minutes of the movie, the first 23 minutes to be exact. And so this movie, with its smart brain, let's go ahead and take that 23 minutes and let's expand it into a featured film. Fuck the rest of the story that made the original film such a classic film. And, yeah. And guess what happens here? So you have Camilla Belle playing a babysitter who starts receiving threatening phone calls from an unidentified stranger, played by both Tommy Flanagan, who plays the stranger in The Fool, and Lance Henriksen, who does the voice in when he's talking to her on the phone. And, of course, you hear the line from the movie, you know, the call is coming from inside the house, which in the original was very chilling and terrifying, but in here, that was their selling point for the whole movie. So good job. You just spoiled the entire movie. You spoiled the thrill factor from in the trailer alone. So why the hell should anybody go see the movie? Because this is Screen Gems, and Screen Gems doesn't give a crap. You know, Screen Gems knows that nobody is going to go see this movie after this weekend. So, you know, that they know that it's a very heavy front-loaded movie, and people are going to go on date nights on Friday and Saturday, not Sunday, of course, because of the Super Bowl. So they'll take whatever money they can get and go run off somewhere else, because this was a hit. Unfortunately, this was only a $15 million budgeted film. It only brought in $67 million worldwide. So they made their money. They got the hell on out of there, and the only positive thing they took from it is that we destroyed another classic horror movie, because we're Screen Gems, and who cares about actually taking a classic horror movie and actually making it as good as the original. We want to water it down so the teens can go see it on date nights, and hopefully they'll get some TNA and then never hear about this movie ever again. That's the Screen Gems way of doing things. But then again, that's also Sony's thing of doing that too, because of course they had The Fog come out in October, and that was also a bad remake of a horror classic. And yeah, this is about as bad as it gets. Taking the first 23 minutes of this movie, which are the most memorable scenes in the entire movie, and trying to stretch it out into this movie, doesn't work unless you do something with it, unless you do something that actually makes it worth it in the end. Like in the original film, they did something with it. They took advantage of what they were trying to accomplish with the first 23 minutes, because the rest of the movie is intense and terrifying, and it helps by having a great performance by Carol Kane that makes you care about her character and get involved in the situation with this guy that keeps calling on the phone. Plus, there's just no scares in here. Every moment that you can think of here, a jump scare, none of it is scary whatsoever, because we've seen this done so many times. You think the filmmakers of this movie give a crap? No, of course not. Why would they? I mean, they know that this is a quick money thing, you know, get the money while you can, and then just get the hell on out of here. Like, they're not going to put any effort into this. Like, it's just a bad movie. It's a really, really bad movie. Maybe one of the worst horror remakes of all time, just for the fact that, like, the idea of taking the most memorable moments of the original film and expanding it into a film could be well done, but you don't get somebody who literally does not have any other writing credits to do that on here. This guy, Jake Wade Wall, I swear to God, this was probably intended to be a made-for-TV movie, like for Lifetime or the WB, because this does not feel like a film that was meant to go to the big screen at all. And I'm sorry, Camilla Bell. She's probably a nice woman overall, and can be a decent actress, but you picked some really bad movies and screwed yourself out of potentially a really good film career as a whole. Because yeah, this movie's terrible. Not much more to say about that one. When a Stranger Calls. So let's go ahead and move on to our last film we have here, and that is Sanaa Lathan and Simon Baker starring in Something New. So if you ever wanted to see a movie where Donna Tums and The Mentalist got together, here you go. Here's that movie for you. That's pretty much what the movie is. I mean, it's basically another Guess Who's Coming to Dinner type of film that's not quite the 2005 comedy remake, but still not the original classic one that won all the Oscars back in the day. You have a story that focuses mostly on interracial relationships and traditional African-American family values and social customs. And the film itself is just okay. I mean, I remember liking it back in the day, but watching it, getting ready to talk about it here on the show, yeah, it definitely has a lot more flaws to it than I do remember. It's not one of the stronger movies in general of trying to get the message across, but I think there is still a lot to like about the movie in general. I think the chemistry between Lathan and Baker works very well. You have a really good supporting cast that includes Mike Epps, Donald Faison, Blair Underwood, Alfre Woodard, Wendy Raquel Robinson. There is a lot of good talent involved in this movie. Taraji P. Henson is in here as well. I think there is a lot here that does work towards the film being somewhat of a film that I could say I recommend, but not quite to the point where I would say that it's something that you should see. This director has made another movie I have liked of his. This is his or her. I can't remember if this is a woman or not. That's a woman. I'm sorry. I apologize. Pretty well-known director, too. Sanaa Hamri, who also did Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2, but she directed a lot of music videos for Prince, Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera, and Sting. So, yeah, I probably should have known that, but yeah, she did a movie that I really like called Just Right with Queen Latifah, and that one was really good too. We'll get to that one in 2010, but this film, it's not as good as I remember it, but it's still not a bad movie either. It's just sort of in the middle. It's a film that I think works mostly because of the cast and the chemistry between the two leads. But you could tell they were trying to go for something similar to what the original Guess Who's Coming to Dinner's message was always supposed to be, and it doesn't quite show in this movie in general. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, I mean, it's not a bad film. It's just a film that I feel like there could have been so much more to it. And the end result is a film that's just an okay film, but really could have been so much more if I remembered it. If I remember it being as good as I remembered watching it back in the day, was what I'm trying to say here. But so yeah, not much more to say about that one. That is Something New. And so, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and pretty stacked list of movies we got coming up for the next show. We got the Steve Martin remake of The Pink Panther, with him in the role of Inspector Clouseau, directed by Sean Levy. The third installment of the Final Destination series, Final Destination 3. The 2D animated movie, which, believe it or not, was kind of a rarity in 2006. Curious George, with Will Ferrell as the voice of the man in the yellow hat. Also had Drew Barrymore in it, David Cross, Dick Van Dyke. We also have Harrison Ford in the thriller Firewall. So we have 4 films to look at, 4 pretty big films. So we'll take a look at those movies all in the next episode. That'll be coming up tomorrow. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. And also don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button because we post videos here every day. So you get updates on when we post new videos. But with all that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time. And until then, as always, there I go again with the thing. It's supposed to be like this. There we go. Until the next time I see you, take care.